Alright, and we're finally here at floor 12. This has gained some notoriety now that there's a new floor 12 as being exceptionally difficult. And spoilers, the rumors are right. This floor was incredibly difficult. I didn't count the exact number of tries it took me to get through it, but it's really it is this Chamber 1 that is so difficult because these Geo Bishops are just insanely tough. More specifically, it's the first half, in my opinion. I had a really good team to deal with the second half, but the first half, I just feel is extremely difficult just because of the elements of the Geo Bishops, how they interact together, and how aggressive they are comparatively. So the main issue with Chamber 1 of Floor 12 is the fact that if you make a mistake and get hit, you're gonna lose most of your health bar or you're going to die. At least one of those is going to happen. You either kill them before they transform, or you have to deal with them while they're transformed and get one shot. That's how it felt up until recently. I almost died there. I barely survived on 67 health. That would have been another dead run. But so the main idea behind the comp that I ran for the first half here was just Vaporize and then Venti for CC that I'll want against the Chamber 2 Sisson mages, as well as swirling for the resistance shred on Hydro and Pyro to help my Vaporize deal more damage. So the main strategy that I would suggest employing with this in any single team, no matter what your team is first and foremost, you should pick one of the Geo Bishops and you should kill it. If you can kill one of the Geo Bishops as quickly as possible, then it's a lot easier to deal with the floor, because one of the main difficulties of this is just the fact that if you get hit once, they're going to start comboing you, and that's how you're getting one shot. One singular one isn't doing everything, it is both of them together that is killing you. Personally, I suggest going for the Electro Geo Bishop. The Electro Geo Bishop is the one that spawns behind you. The one that, what's it called, spawns right next to the entrance where you walk up. And then the Pyro one is the one that spawns in front of you there. I suggest going for the Electro one, killing it first, and just getting rid of it, being done with it, because those Electro Orbs are just impossible to deal with, it feels like. Even if you manage to avoid one attack, with a dash, you'll probably end up getting caught. If you're in between all of them, trying to dodge in between attacks, it's very likely that you'll end up just getting caught by one of those Electro Orbs and staggered, which will then allow them to, again, combo and one-shot you with very little counterplay. You have to play near perfectly if you can't burst them down before they transform, but in summation, you want to burst the Geo Bishops down as much as you can before they transform, targeting the Electro one first, and then you can deal with the Pyro one after. Make sure after they transform that your focus is more heavily on dodging and avoiding their abilities, and recharging your energy so that you can have your ults up for the iframes as often as possible, as well as to be able to burst them down in the most safe manner that you can. And that's the most consistent way that I've found to be able to deal with it. The second chamber here that I haven't even talked about, even though it's almost over now, it was a lot easier for me just because I had a really good team that was just super safe and really good at CCing, staying healthy, being really tanky, and just dealing a ton of damage to get through them all. And so I don't have as much experience talking about this one, but it's very similar strategies. But I definitely say that the Hydro and Cryo combination is a lot easier than the Pyro plus Electro combination. This was, I think, the first or second attempt that I went through on the second half, when it took me, gosh, 20-30 attempts to get the first half down and finally get it. And it definitely helped that I got a couple really good, what's it called, buffs for the Abyss floors here. The 20% attack buff on 2 floors is very nice. So I took, one thing that I do want to say is when you're trying to fight the Geobishops, after you've killed one, it becomes a lot easier, and you should take the time afterwards to recharge your energy and heal up as best as you can, because as you can see, I had to take a lot of time and effort in the first half of Chamber 2 here to make up for the fact that I didn't do that to the degree I needed to. I made a mistake and wasted Bennett ult killing the Geobishop when I meant to just drop it so that I could heal up, but it ended up heal up my Tartaglia before the next floor, but it ended up just going south in that regard, and so I had to go from behind on here. But I definitely say that the first chamber is easily the hardest part of this entire floor. Once you get past that, you can get through the rest of it. I did not have much issue dealing with it myself. Just getting past those Geobishops is just insane, because they're just gonna one-shot you. That's the whole issue, is you have to play extremely safe. And CC, hard CC with Zhongli, shields to be tanky so that you can deal with and not get one-shot as easily are massive things that you should consider including in your teams when running this floor. It just helps so much. With the second chamber here, the first half, we're just fighting 2 system mages. They're really annoying. I suggest killing the Electro one first, just because the Electro ones are more annoying in general. They blink a lot more, and it also has the floor buff on the Electro one that's just gonna keep spawning those little Electro triangles that are going to be really annoying to deal with. I thought the shield was broken there. So that was a mistake there. Lost out a lot of damage on my Tartaglia ult, that's fine. If you aren't insanely built to be able to just one-shot everything on these floors, you're not going to be getting 3 stars on every chamber. I'm just going to say that straight up. This is a chamber where if you're managing to get 6 stars, you're doing insanely well, honestly. If you get more than 6 stars, awesome. Fantastic job. Kudos to you. I don't think I can get more than 6 stars on this floor right now, personally. I don't know. It's a mixture of mechanical lacking, as well as just the fact that I felt as though I don't have the stats for it as well. Again, I'm not talking as much about this Chamber 2, because it's pretty standard. It's a lot of, second half is mob enemies, the first half is, mob enemies plus the Fatui agents. Obviously make sure you kill the Fatui agent with the Pyro buff first, because you want to get rid of that thing that is really annoying to deal with. It's a lot of damage, and if you're not careful, it can really be dangerous, so just make sure that you deal with that. If you have characters that can CC well, fantastic. I suggest going for it. Sucrose, Zhongli, Venti, all great options to run. I'm running Zhongli here because I want to run him and Albedo together with Kaching and Jean, because I don't need any specific elements to deal with anything on any floors other than the first chamber, because when the Geobishops transform, they're going to gain elemental resistance equal depending on which element they take on, so that's something you should keep in mind, and don't run an Electro or Pyro DPS most on the first half is what I would suggest, because you're going to do reduced damage to them, and don't run a Hydro or Cryo main DPS on the second half of Chamber 1, because similarly they're going to gain resistances to those elements, and it's going to be really annoying for you to deal with. But floor 12 really is it's a DPS check for the most part, and then Chamber 1 is also just Chamber 1 is also just a heavy mechanical check. Just play safe and whatnot. Chamber 2, CC, target the the enemies with the buffs, and you're good to go. Similarly, Chamber 3 is honestly the easiest chamber in my opinion. It's just 2 Ruin Guards, and then the second half is 2 Ruin, what's it called? Ruin, not the Ruin Hunter, the new Ruin things. Ruin Graders, that's what they're called. I personally suggest staggering, knocking them down, as you see me doing here. I knock one down, target it. I'm knocking down the one with the buff there first, because I want to get rid of that buff, because that's, it can potentially do a lot of damage to you and really hurt. You saw that took like half of my health from Tartaglia, getting hit by all that. But, I suggest knocking him down first and then dropping some of your damage, but don't drop all of your bursts until they start grouping up, and then wait for that first one to stand back up, and then knock down the other one. You do this, of course, by targeting their little eye socket thing with a bow user, and then just alternate who you're knocking down. When you knock one down, just group them together, use the body of the downed one to block the currently up one so that it's harder for it to hit you, and then knock down the other one. When the first one you knock down stands back up, look over to the other one and knock it down, and then just handle it like you would any other Ruin Guard in the overworld. Again, I suggest taking down the one with the buff first, because it does a lot of damage and you don't want to have to deal with that if possible. And you should be able to get through this if you just have the damage, because again, it's a DPS check, this floor is. And there you go. Again, on Chamber 3s, be sure to just throw down your ults, just drop your bursts. You're not going to need them afterwards, so don't worry about it. Now, in this one is really annoying just because you have to deal with the cryo cage, which is my least favorite buff, or debuff, or whatever, in the Abyss. It's really annoying. I'm not as experienced on how to drop the Ruin Graders, but they're really slow and really easy to avoid their attacks. So mostly just watch out for when the little cryo symbol is going to pop up below your characters and dash out of the way so you don't get stuck in the cryo cage. Whatever CC you might have or any debuffs that you have, keep it up as much as you can and just unload all of your damage. This is a DPS check through and through. Unless you've got a god tier account, you're not going to get 3 stars just straight up. And god tier account doesn't mean a whale, it means I'm referring to your artifacts and your team comps that you're able to run. Just make sure that you have, just put something together that you can unload as much damage as possible, and make sure that you just cycle through your skill rotations as best as you can to unload damage. There's not I'm trying to come up with more stuff to talk about, but it's at this point, this floor really is just kind of this chamber, I mean to say, it really is just a DPS check. Unload everything you can as quickly as you can. Focus on, if you have to kill one first, kill the one with the buff first to get rid of the cryo cage, and then just unload on the other one. But you should definitely be trying to group them and unload as much AoE damage as you can on the both of them, because if you're just going for one and then the other, you're going to miss out on a lot of time, and because your damage is going to be split, and you're not going to get the most value out of it. So yeah, trying to think if there's anything else about this floor in general that I want to go over. Still, I don't think there's anything else. Chamber 1, focus, pick one Geobishop, melt it, just burst it down as quickly as you can before it transforms. After they transform, just be as safe as you can. Be smart. In the first half, take out the Electro one first, because those orbs are going to stagger you, and it's going to be a lot harder to deal with than the Pyro one. Yeah, in the second half, just watch out for Just watch out for potential freezes because it is Hydro and Cryo. One of them will drop a Hydro Ring around on you. I believe you can cleanse it with Jean and Barbara. Well, Barbara, it won't matter. I don't suggest using Barbara there because you're just going to end up getting frozen if you keep Hydro applied to yourself like that. But otherwise, yeah, that's generally how you're going to want to handle the first chamber, and that is where the main difficulty of this floor lies, is just knowing how to handle the onslaught of attacks that these Geovicious are going to unload on you, because you have to play near perfect after they transform, or they are just going to one-shot you unless you're running very sustainy, tanky-based team comps, such as if you have Zhongli, Jean is great, Bennett helps a little bit, but the instant health is a lot more important than the health over time against these guys, in my opinion, as that's why it felt a lot harder to work with Bennett than Jean in the first half versus second half, in my opinion. But Bennett is still Bennett, so he's still amazing. Please, if you have him, run him. If you have Noelle, I guarantee would be amazing on this floor, because she would work similarly to Zhongli, just in the sense of providing a huge shield that really heavily protects you from the massive amount of burst damage that they're going to be dealing. But any character with a really good shield is going to be great there. Xinyan would also be fantastic in the first half, because she's going to give you a Pyro-specific shield that's going to be more effective against the Pyro Geovicious. Would be fine. Diona is a fantastic character you could pull into the second half if you really wanted to. Specifically, her cryo damage is going to do very minimal work against the Cryo Geovicious, but will be fine against the Hydro Geovicious. But it's really going to give you that kind of shield against that damage, as well as being a really solid healer in her own right as well. But that's my general thoughts on the Floor 12. I hope that this overview and example video helped give you some ideas going into your Floor 12. It's a very difficult floor. If you can't get through it, don't feel bad. If you're getting frustrated, just take a break. Think your strategy through. Try a few different things. Come back and just refresh yourself. It's a grind. It's a grind to learn the patterns and learn where you need to be, where you need to dodge and step back, kiting out and regenerating your energy so that you can have your elemental bursts up for the iframes as much as possible is a fantastic strategy. I would suggest, if you can't burst them down before they transform. And just safety is key in this. Safety on top of good damage numbers really is the key in the first chamber. So again, hopefully this was helpful to those of you who are struggling with this floor, like many are, including myself. I was for a while. Hope it helped. Good luck to yourself in trying to complete this floor and get those Prima Gems, and have a great rest of your day.